Yeah! Here we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
Hold on. That's a big balls move. Do you want your title?
Happy Sunday, happy early morning trash football game.
Yes! We're back, baby! Let's go!
Feud with Aaron Rodgers. I almost got banned off TikTok for the thing that
apparent MCL sprain on his knee. He has had some nagging hamstring issues over the years.
D. Lots of fun words start with D. Like bye weeks.
Ayo, welcome into TSS Fantasy, baby.
Yeah!
Can I get a yeah, Luke? Yeah, that's what's up. It is playoff week, everybody. It's semifinals week, the second most important week of the entire fantasy football year. And we are glad that you are tuning in right now with us because we got it. We're here and we're ready to answer your questions and break down these games like Travis Kelce does in that animated little version. But yeah, welcome into TSS Fantasy. I am, of course, your fantasy Jesus, Justin Herrera. My buddy right here, Mr. Mallard himself, Mr. Sophistication himself, Andrew LeDuc. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. You'll see later just how sophisticated I am because I looked extra sophisticated this morning.
Damn, bro. Did you get a round of golf in? That's how you get all that spiffy going?
No, but the weather, the temperature here was beautiful today. It was randomly like 55 degrees and all the snow that we had on the ground melted. So I could have probably golfed, but no, I did not.
I feel like we're on the same weather cycle right now because the sun broke through today and all the snow melted as well. And it's just like for the next 3 days, it's just going to be absolutely beautiful. So I'm like, oh, dude, I got to get golfing. Like this might be my last chance.
Yeah, we're not going to get quite there, I think, but that's okay. I'm further north.
Yeah. You're in real snow country. I'm just in that little bit here and there country, but
we've already had a foot. So,
oh yeah, really?
Yeah, that's what just melted. We had a foot like week and a half ago, something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I think the most we've gotten is 4 inches this year, so it's not too bad. But
not too bad.
I mean, I'll take it. You know, people already drive stupid on the roads out here in the snow, so I don't need a foot of snow. But we're not talking about snow games this week, which is actually a good thing because I love the fact that all our players are going to be playing. But for the players that aren't, we go to the doc.
It's time to get your latest NFL injury updates with Brian from the Injured List podcast. The doctor is in.
And by Brian,
the doc is not in. But between me and Mr. Mallard here, we can put together probably about a quarter of the doc's brain. And we can at least read off what we know about the injuries that are going to be going into this week. And I'm going to pass it off to Mr. LeDuc because him and Brian have worked very closely. So I'm going to let him take over on this one.
We have. So I'm going to just run through. I mean, it's Friday, so we've gotten some answers today, but we'll obviously have more answers tomorrow and Sunday because, yes, don't forget we do have 2 Saturday games tomorrow. So don't forget to set those lineups and keep an eye out on the injury reports for those. You got to probably play ahead with maybe tomorrow's guys being in your actual position spots. If you have multiple flex, leave Sundays for flex just in case. It's just one of those things you got to make sure you're paying attention to when we got kind of a weird schedule like this. But anyways, first on the list, Javonte Williams had a neck injury. He is off of it as of today, as of just a couple hours ago. So he should be good to go. It looks like CeeDee Lamb as well had a little illness. Stomach bug's been going around the whole country. So he's off the injury report as well. He'll be fine. So great news there for Dallas. They should be firing on all cylinders. Marvin Harrison is still listed as questionable for Sunday. He's been practicing all week, but limited fashion. So he says he's good enough to go. That's probably going to be enough. But, with the Cardinals being where they are, we'll see how far they really push it. But Marvin Harrison says he's good to go with that heel injury, but keep an eye on that. But it's looking like he's probably going to play. Nick Chubb is questionable as well. That's a rib injury, so that's really more of a pain tolerance kind of situation, as long as it's nothing that's threatening, puncturing a lung or any other organs like that. He closed the week with 2 straight full practices, so once again, it looks like he's probably going to go. And Woody Marks is also questionable. He's a little bit more of a true questionable, it seems, but he got in 1 practice this week. So he's going to be closer to a game time decision. So this is going to be a situation where I'm assuming just one of them is probably going to play. Right now, it seems to be leaning towards Chubb, which is unfortunate for Houston because Woody Marks seems to be the more electric option there. So just keep an eye on that situation. It's honestly probably a situation where I'm going to stay away from anyways. So because a rib injury, even if Nick Chubb is the main guy, that's tough to play through. Devontae Adams already said to not be expected to play this week. Coming out of he didn't play last night. I'm sorry, he didn't play last night, but he's also already been said to not be expected to play next week, week 17. So that's big news there. The touchdown king himself this year. We kind of saw how that worked out last night for the Rams. We'll get into that in just a little bit. RJ Harvey, good to go. He's off the injury report. And Geno Smith will be making the start for the Raiders. So he's back in there. Ollie Gordon, good to go. Devon Achane is also off the injury report, so he's good to go in a fantastic matchup for the Dolphins. Let's see, what else we got here? That's sorry about that. We got so much. Sorry, we got so much news here just today in the last couple hours. Something to watch. Anthony Richardson, limited practice today. 2 straight limited practices. Phillip Rivers was already named the starter for this week, but it seems like the Colts might be looking to get Richardson some reps by the end of the season here, so in the last 2 games possibly. So if you're relying on another magical Phillip Rivers performance in your fantasy playoffs, I'm not sure how you're there anyways, but Anthony Richardson, Phillip Rivers, we'll see what happens there for the Colts as their playoff dreams kind of dwindle to nothing. Alec Pierce was a full practice today as well with his Achilles injury, so that's good news since he's been a big downfield weapon for them. And then Josh Downs, he wasn't hurt. He was out for personal reasons. He was back to practice, so he should be fine to play this weekend as well. The Jets quarterbacks, no one gives a shit. We'll move on past them. And then I'm sorry, Rashee Rice has already been ruled out for Week 16 as well with a concussion. So once again, the Chiefs, we'll get into it in more detail, but I'll spoil it now that I'm picking the Titans because I just don't see what the Chiefs are going to care about this week.
Yeah, I wanted to throw a couple more out there just because they're tomorrow games. Right. The Bears be expected to not have Luther Burden or Rome Odunze once again this week. And then, a couple of side notes. Lane Johnson is not going to be playing tomorrow. I know it's the Commanders, but division rivals tend to bring out the best in you. Saquon Barkley might not be as good as we think he's going to be for tomorrow. He might still be amazing, but Lane Johnson has been a huge part on the right side of a very shaky offense. And then I think you pretty much covered the rest of it. Mason Taylor was a guy that I was kind of watching, and Alvin Kamara also being out of that Saints-Jets game. I mean, for what it's worth, that game was going to be very sloppy, but having those kind of options would have been nice. So you're kind of stuck with Audric Estime, and don't quote me, I have no idea who the hell the Jets' second tight end would be. But other than that, I think we covered it pretty well. It seems like it's standard in the NFL. You're going to have many injuries at this point. This is when, you really do earn your skill in fantasy football because it's picking up the right guys at the right time, and this is the right time. But anyways, As for our injury report, we are going to see you out with NeuroGuard Plus.
Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILPSports for 10% discount on your purchase.
Quick shout out to Daniel Barry. You're always
Yes.
up here, man, brother. We appreciate you for always stopping by. But, like LaDuke said, we had a banger last night. We got a lot to talk about.
Breaking news. The boys from TSS Fantasy still don't know what the hell they are talking about.
Nope, because I predicted last night wrong. Got the team winning right, but I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, and that may have fucked me in the playoffs.
Not just you. But I'll tell you what, I didn't see that one going nearly off the rails like it did. And, that game, I got to tell you, you said it best. Our chat said it best. That took some freaking cojones to do what was going on in that game. Obviously,
both sides.
The Seahawks and the Rams, 38-37, about as evenly matched as it was. And, at the end of the game, it just came down to one team took the chance and it paid off. And, Seahawks, obviously, it was it started to look a lot like the first game for Sam Darnold. He had a lot of turnovers. I believe it was 3. I think he had 2 interceptions and a fumble. And then, for the Rams, just playing it picture perfect, man. Stafford was just on a heater. Absolutely had 450 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was just going. He was cranking it out there. LeDuc, just give me a little synopsis. I'm sorry, 3 touchdowns for 457. Give me a little synopsis of how you felt about this game and how you felt about if you have any of these players going into the next week.
Well, the main thing I felt about watching last night is how I immediately regretted sitting Matthew Stafford at the last minute. When I say last minute, like in the last hour, I was like, you know what? If I truly believe this is going to be a low-scoring game, like I have Baker Mayfield as an option that in a game that I think will be a little bit more high-scoring, and then that just bit me in the butt, the fact that I even changed it last minute. So Stafford got 30 points on my bench. That hurts, especially when I'm already going up against the guy first place in the league, first place in points scored all year, and it's just been an absolute just a running through everybody. So I really could have used those 30 points, and now I don't get them. So that's going to hurt. It is a semifinals, so we'll see if I can somehow pull it off. But the game last night, I do think I'm not the only one who sat Stafford for that reason. Judging from Facebook groups, other people were posting the same thing. So it made me feel a little bit better. But I do know people got screwed by starting Kobe Parkinson, because out of all the tight ends that Matthew Stafford was throwing to, he couldn't get on the same page with Parkinson. He wasn't really, for the whole first half, he really wasn't even looking his way. He looked his way more in the second half. I'll tell you what, I needed to hit a parlay. I needed 4 more yards from Parkinson. And in overtime, he threw to him near the sideline, and it was a little low, and Parkinson couldn't pick it. And that was that. And my parlay dreams went out. But I know people are going to lose their matchups this week because they played Parkinson. And that's just been the kind of the story this year, chasing tight ends after coming off of a hot week. And tight ends haven't made any sense this year. Guys have been going off when they're not supposed to go off. Guys who are supposed to be catching fire have gone ice cold and not just like low yardage and like, just missed a touchdown by a hair or something, like completely ignored in the offense the next week. The tight ends have made no sense this year. And last night was another example of that where, even on the Seahawks side, A.J. Barner out of nowhere pops up again for the first time in weeks, where right when people stop believing that he might be a factor, he goes in there and does make some big plays for the Seahawks last night. So the tight end is just a mess. I feel like it's that way every year, but for some reason it feels a little bit more confusing this year.
Yeah, tight end, that position that you're never going to feel bad about if you draft in the first 2 rounds, because if you get McBride, Bowers, or Kittle, you're usually locked in. If you have to resort to the rest of them, you're kind of going like you're saying right now. You're kind of going like, fuck, when are you going to show out? Do I have to go get somebody else?
Exactly.
And you go get somebody else and they show out. You're like, Jesus Christ. Kyle Pitts shows up last week for the biggest game of his entire life, and I guarantee you there wasn't a motherfucker holding up. Like, golly, dude. And that hurts even more because it's playoffs week. The motherfucker that benched him.
Well, that's the thing. So, and obviously playoffs, we can't not talk about Puka Nacua with the night he had, because that was unreal. And obviously a lot of people have already lost their playoff weeks if they were going against him. What I found interesting in this 14-team league that I was referencing, that I'm in the semifinals in, so out of the 4 teams left, Nakua is not on any of the 4 teams. So I'm a little surprised with the season he has that he hasn't led a team into the Final Four. And I'm going to, actually go back and look to see who had him and where they finished, because it's just curious to see when someone has a record-setting year like that. Like looks like he's going to break Cooper Kupp's record that he also set with the Rams and with Stafford. How much can it carry a team? Can one position carry your team? And you think it could, because with the amount of points he's scoring, but I got to find out who the hell has him and see where they fit.
Well, you know what? I like to think of it as, sometimes you can get lucky and fall into a player like that, but you got to that's where the skill is too. You got to build around it. The guy in our major league, in our major podcast league, one guy had Jonathan Taylor, and he was probably the scoring leader the entire season. First round exit because he didn't build properly around that team. And he was just kind of living off of those Jonathan Taylor weeks. So, I can imagine that being an issue. I will say this, though. In one of my dynasty leagues where I'm in the semifinals, I got 81 points because I had Puka Nacua and JSN in the same league. And nice. I am currently sitting with 81 points going, okay, let's go.
Everybody else can take the week off. And the guy who has Puka Nacua actually finished 13 and 15. It's a league where you get 2 matchups a week. So he finished 13 and 15. He had the likes of Chase Brown, Caleb Williams, Jake Ferguson, Dobbs. So he really, Harrison Jr., who's been a disappointment this year. A doomsday. So he's had some guys that should have been better than they were, honestly.
Yeah, he seemed to have really hit the injury bug more than anything else.
Right. Yeah, because he had Pacheco on that team too. So he definitely ran into some bad luck.
For sure. But I mean, this is a game where now the way that the season plays out for the NFC West, you feel good going in the championship week because none of your guys are going to get sat.
Well, that's true.
Puka Nacua is 100% on the field. Matthew Stafford is 100% on the field, and JSN, because every one of these teams has to be perfect for the rest of the season just for that opportunity to win the number 1 seed. So
so many options. So that's a great feeling.
Yeah, best case scenario, 100%. But while that was great, it's on to the next one.
It's time to get your lineup set with TSS Fantasy's Friday Night Breakdown.
Breakdown.
Bring it on down.
Breakdown.
Bring it on down. Bring it on down.
Greg has like no reaction to Fred dancing like that in that video, which just tells me Greg saw that way too many times.
It always gets me every time. The whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Love it.
To have been in that room when Fred was doing it, just experience that. But anyways, let's get it started with a little bit Philly, Washington. Would have been a good game last year. This year, it's kind of just game. But, Philly against the quarterback is number 9. Washington is 28th. They're against the running back. Philly's 21st. Washington's 27th. Against wide receivers, Philly is 8th. Washington is 23rd. And against tight ends, Philly is 3rd. Washington is 29th. A big thing for this game, Jalen Carter had double surgery on his shoulders, so he is probably not going to be back until the playoffs. Opening up the door, possibly Philly being worse against the running backs than they already are. Who do you got in this game for the home team, the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, this is really a lopsided matchup, unfortunately. But when you are looking at, I guess, if you want to say the weaker points, you already said it's the running game for the Commanders, and that's what it's another division game. Like I know this seems super lopsided, but these are those games that they can always be a little bit closer. So I do like both Chris Rodriguez and Krosky Merritt. Merritt all of a sudden out of nowhere last week looked good again. So who knows what that split's going to be? I think you can that both of those guys would probably be a flex guy in this situation. Unfortunately, with Marcus Mariota throwing the ball and against this Eagles defense, and obviously Jalen Carter does pose a big change to, I guess, the potential pass rush that the Commanders have to deal with here. But I can't trust Terry or Debo at this point, any of the wide receivers. I just don't feel confident. I mean, I guess if you really want to take a chance, Debo's got a better chance of finding the end zone, in my opinion. That's where you'd go. But I think anything Commanders are successful at doing is just going to be on the ground.
Just a quick question for you. How deep do you have to be for Terry McLaurin to be an option? Do you have to be 3 wide deep? Do you have to be 2 flex deep?
Yeah, it would be something like that because let me see exactly what he's done. Like I know he had a good week last week, but the week before that on the road against Minnesota wasn't great. Minnesota, a good defense, a defense that gets the quarterback. So it just doesn't seem like when Mariota or whoever the quarterback for Washington is, when they're getting pressured, they don't seem to be looking to Terry. Terry seems to need more, like he's more successful in developed plays. Debo's the type of guy that is gonna be able to, find a space and maybe flick it over to him, and maybe he breaks a couple tackles just because of his size.
Right. I think it could be more of a Debo week just because the second corner, whoever that is now on the Eagles, has struggled mightily, while Quinton Mitchell has been absolutely locked down. On the Philly side, I'm sticking with my guns here. Saquon, Hurts, AJ Brown. I don't know if I'm fully feeling Devonta Smith, but I am 100% in on Dallas Goedert. This man has been a monster, and he has been absolutely tearing it up. So yeah, plug Dallas Goedert in 100% of your tight end position. He has entered the conversation of being one of the consistent 4 now of tight ends for fantasy. Our next game is going to be Green Bay and Chicago. You got to love the Saturday doubleheaders now. I mean, this is probably what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the season, and I don't mind it because I don't get to really see college football that much anymore. Green Bay starts off, they're 11th against the quarterback. Chicago's 21st. Running backs, Green Bay's 8th. Chicago's 13th. Wide receivers, Green Bay is 18th. Wide receivers for Chicago is 26th. And then the tight end position, Green Bay is 12th against the tight end, and Chicago is 19th. So both kind of like feeling more middle of the road as far as defense goes. I know huge for Micah Parsons. It's going to give Caleb a lot of time back there. How are you feeling about those Bears this week?
The Bears are interesting because, like we mentioned, between Burden and Odunze, the wide receivers are sparse. I know DJ Moore had a great week last week. He should be able. I mean, granted, when I say great week, it was very touchdown dependent with those 2 touchdowns. Without that, he would have just 4 for 88, which is fine. Like that's not great. It's not bad, but you need more out of it for a playoff matchup. But I think DJ Moore can still do some damage as the number 1 option here. Zacchaeus and Duvernay, they don't do anything for me. If it's going to be passing, Colston Loveland feels like the play here. He's had 5+ targets in his last 4 games, and he's converted. He's only had, 1, 2, 3, 6, incomplete passes thrown his way in that time. So he's not necessarily finding the end zone, but he seems to be a kind of a safe spot in that offense. And with both Burden and Odunze out, I think Williams is going to have to look his way quite a bit. But Swift and Monongai, where they're going to probably once again same with Washington. These are the guys that are going to be able to make a splash for them, I think, as far as a big play or just controlling the clock consistency. They're going to have to lean on this run game to slow down the Packers offense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was going to ask you if Colston Loveland was going to be a reliable option for you during playoffs week, just because of the fact that, not much as far as passing goes for him right now. I mean, DJ Moore, you got to expect is going to be heavily guarded in this game.
Right.
But, could be one of those big ball moments, as I say in the end. As far as Green Bay goes, Green Bay had a really good game against Chicago the first time. I can't see them not having a good game on offense this week. I think their defense actually might surprise some people with the injuries to Chicago. But, I'm starting Jordan Love, no problem. I'm starting freaking Josh Jacobs as long as he's on the field. I mean, this guy has literally been injured all season long, and he is still putting up 2 touchdown performances and is low-key should be one of the guys in the running for Offensive Player of the Year, because he has been absolutely awesome in this Packers offense. As far as wide receivers go, Christian Watson has been said looks like he's going to be a good to go after that horrific injury. I thought he had broken his collarbone the way that
it did not look good at all at the time.
Sheesh. But yeah, if he's good to go, I wouldn't have a problem putting him in there. And then, you're not going to put Luke Musgraves in. So I feel like you probably just lock in with those 3 and you're good to go as far as Green Bay is. And wow, what a series. It's 109, 96, and 6.
Those are 2 long time teams in this league.
Yeah,
6 ties. 6 ties is crazy too.
Yes, 6 ties is pretty fucking wild, isn't that? So first off, did you see that stat that they put up about the fourth quarter 14, but down by 14 for the Seahawks?
I don't think I saw that. No,
they had a record of 0 and 172.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
and then they won last night.
Yep.
So that's gonna feel good.
Oh yeah, the good old commentator's curse getting lifted. But anyways, we're gonna go to the Chargers and Cowboys next, and this is really a tale of 2 different teams. The Chargers against quarterbacks number 2, Dallas against quarterbacks number 32. Chargers against running backs number 12. Dallas against running backs number 26. And then the Chargers against tight end, or the wide receiver and the tight end position, number 2 and number 7. On the other side, on the flip side, for the wide receivers, Dallas is number 32, and tight ends, they're number 16, their best number. Dallas, it's going to be all offense. But who do you pick on this offense? Who do you trust on this offense in playoff week?
Well, the obvious matchup is Javonte Williams with, that's the only somewhat weak spot for the Chargers defense in this matchup. But he's gotten you there as a surprise. You got to continue to play him. He gets enough involved, and there's really nobody behind him right now that's taking any type of snaps from him. Malik Davis is not a threat. And then outside of that, you gotta Lamb and Pickens is gonna be fine. Prescott's gonna be fine. Like, this is gonna be a game where they're gonna have to throw the ball. Jake Ferguson is kind of faded a little bit in this offense recently. He hasn't been able to eclipse double-digit points since week 7. So you might have to play him, but it's really your main guys. Javonte, it's Lamb, and it's Pickens, and those guys are plenty enough to carry this offense to keeping this game close, I think.
Are you trusting Prescott?
Yeah, I'm fine starting Prescott. Like, I'm not necessarily I don't think he's going to be like a top 5 quarterback, but I think he's going to be right in there in like a top 12, top 13. So I think in the playoff week, you're most likely going to have to start him unless you got lucky and were able to get some other guys and feel like you're in a situation like I felt like last night where I sat Stafford stupidly, but felt like the right decision at the time because I had Baker Mayfield in a better matchup. You might be in a situation like that, but I think you're going to have to start Prescott. And between Pickens and Lamb, both of those are 2 guys that can get yards after the catch, to where even if he's under pressure and he's got to get rid of the ball quick and short, like they're gonna get him some points for him.
Agreed. And DJ Master, you have a blessed day as well, man. We're excited that you tuned in. Thank you so much. And yes, football indeed. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think it's got to be one of those games where Dallas kind of turns the offense on because their defense can't stop anything. The Chargers side, it's pretty simple. Just, I think this is Omarion Hampton's real breakout game. I have this real feeling in my gut, and I'm starting him everywhere I have him on a playoff team, because I think that this is going to be the game where he kind of just pops off for 1 or 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, and he makes his name, because this Dallas defense is absolutely trash against the running back position. And, he's kind of needed in this offense. They need that bruiser. They need him to get going for the playoffs. Justin Herbert, obviously a great start. And then I would say Ladd McConkey is the one I want to trust as far as the wide receivers. Arundé Gadsden has kind of come back down to earth. I know he was looking like an alien for 2 weeks, but for the past couple weeks, he's kind of looked more like a pedestrian guy, more like the guy we saw at Syracuse than the guy that we've seen in the NFL. But
I hope not. I have to start him in my playoff matchup, so.
Well, I've been wrong about a lot this week, Andrew. So this whole season, I've been wrong about a lot.
I need him.
Let's go on to our next matchup. It's the Vikings and the Giants. So the Vikings are number 3 against quarterbacks. That is surprising. The Giants on the flip side, number 31. This feels like a lot like the last game. Number 14 against running backs for the Vikings. Number 31 against running backs for the Giants. Number 1 against wide receivers for the Vikings. See, this defense just amazes me.
Right.
Number 29 for the Giants. And then finally, number 14 against the tight end for the Vikings, and number 8 for the Giants. The Giants, that's a tricky one because they have very favorable matchups, but they also have a quarterback that loves brain damage.
Right.
Who do you trust on a losing team this week? In a losing matchup, they're playing there's 2 teams that have nothing to play for anymore. They're really just playing their guys just to get them more time. Who do you trust on that Giants team, if you trust anybody this week?
Trust is the wrong word. I think there's a chance that 2 guys try to salvage how this season looks for them. In Tyron Tracy, who we saw miss a little bit of time. And, for the majority, pretty much the whole first half of the season that he has played has been disappointing. I feel like he finally got things going last week. I'm thinking he's going to be just one of those guys where he's like, okay, the season is what it was. Let's try to make this feel as good as it can and build off of something. So Tyron Tracy is a guy that could get away with being a flex. And then, like we said, with the tight end landscape, Theo Johnson, just from a matchup standpoint, has the chance to do something similar. But I'm expecting that to be more of a floor game for Theo Johnson. You're probably going to get around 9-10 points if it's a quote unquote good week for him. But outside of that, you can't trust anybody else. But Tyrone Tracy's got the best chance of contributing to your fantasy lineup in the playoffs this week.
I like it. I like it. On the Minnesota side, I can probably only trust, and this is really stretching it, Aaron Jones. You know, for what it's worth, that pass rush is pretty nasty. They've got some pretty good guys on the Giants side. I could see them getting to J.J. McCarthy and making him look real bad. And that being said, you're not trusting a guy who nicknamed himself 9 going into your fantasy.
Right.
And if you are, you probably had Patrick Mahomes going into last week and barely eked it out. So you've probably been doomed from the beginning. But I'll say this, you know, Justin Jefferson, I hope you either work out really hard with number 9 in the offseason or the trade, because his things need to get better for the best wide receiver in the league, because he is just not looking like it. Jordan Addison could be a real deep flyer if you have enough space on a team. He's looked all right. But yeah, other than that, I don't, you know, maybe the Minnesota defense. I've been contemplating Minnesota defense or Buffalo defense, because
I'm playing the Vikings defense in DFS this weekend on Sunday. We'll see that, but yeah.
Well, shit. You've won quite a few DFS championships. Maybe I'll think about that one.
Not this year, but yes, thank you. Last year I did.
You're right. I should take a peek at what Meg's roster is looking like. Let's move on to Cincinnati and Miami. It's a shame that Commissioner's not here to give us an America's team. Just doesn't quite feel the same without him on that one. But
America's team.
America's team.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati, Miami, Cincinnati coming in. This is really just going to be. It's either going to be a really fun game or you're going to go, oh God, this game.
Yeah.
Cincinnati 30th against quarterbacks. Miami 23rd. Running backs. Cincinnati's 32nd. Miami is 17th. This is the interesting part. Wide receivers, Cincinnati is number 5.
I know,
Miami,
out of nowhere. It's very random.
Number 7. What are we talking about here?
Right.
And then tight ends, obviously this is the weak point right here. Number 32 for Cincinnati versus number 30 for Miami. So other than starting the tight end, who else do you like in Miami? If anybody, because they're starting their rookie QB.
Yeah, I mean, Ashen, you probably got to start just because he's so explosive and he's just had that kind of year. Like, I don't see them just slowing him down just for the hell of it. They got to do something to get through the game. So Ashen will be that guy. And then honestly, this is one of those. So we're at that time of year now, and this is really the first game we've talked about this week where, you know, we have this rookie quarterback coming in and making this start out of nowhere before anyone expected it. It's that time of year where weird things happen with weird players that no one expects. Greg Dulcich, an athletic tight end. Weakness against the Bengals is tight ends. Ewers and Dulcich definitely have had some time together with the second string guy. Like, they've had some time together all season, basically working together in practice and whatnot. I could see a connection being there. And yeah, Waller's playing, and he's been the tight end with all the targets. He had a great week last week with the 2 touchdowns. But you know, 50 only. Sorry, what was the yardage there? Why is it not showing me his yardage? What the hell? Oh, 66 yards, sorry. But so he was very touchdown dependent last week, as Waller's been this year when he has had good games. But I could see Dulcich getting involved here. Let's have some fun with this. Let's see what Ewers can do. And if he's going to have this opportunity, he's going to look for guys he's comfortable with. I'll take a chance there. Super cheap in DFS. I'm just going to say it. I'm playing him for like $2,500 on Sunday in our DFS, because why not? It's that time of year. Weird things happen. Greg Dulcich.
I like it. You know what? Those are the type of plays that win you $1 million. I'll tell you that right now.
We'll see.
On the Cincinnati side, I think it's pretty simple. Just start everybody you normally start. I think Joe Burrow. There's no way Joe Burrow accepts another blowout. There's no fucking way. Like you got to think with how depressed he is right now. You got to think in the back of his head, he's thinking, I can't get blown out by the freaking Dolphins. I can't let that happen. I got to feed my boy Chase. I got to let my boy Chase Brown eat. I think every one of those guys is an option, including Mike Gesicki. And I'm saying it right here, including Mike Gesicki. Because when you're 30th against the tight end, it's not going to get much better, even if you're benching Tua. Most likely it's going to get worse because that defense is going to see the field more often than not. So if you have a Bengal in and you made it this far, like I said, if you have a Bengal and you made it this far, because last week was rough, then I would put him in, and hopefully you'll ride it out to a championship. Next up, we got an exciting game. We got Tampa and Carolina. Tampa is number 29 against the quarterback position. Carolina is number 8. 23rd against the running back position. Carolina is 24th, right next to each other. Tampa is 17th against wide receivers. Carolina is 11th. And then Tampa is 28th against the tight end, and Carolina is 18th. So, big divisional game. Everybody's hopefully going to show out for this game. Who do you want on your team from Carolina?
Yeah, it's really just Rico Dowdle and Tet at this point. And even Dowdle has been so inefficient. He's very touchdown dependent at this point. I mean, last week alone, he had 16 carries and only 49 yards. Like that's brutal efficiency. So, he's averaging just under or right around 3 yards per carry, just about all season right now. So, but I think in this game, Dowdle can be okay to find the end zone. And I think Tet's just going to be kind of a target and reception monster. I know he had a quieter week last week and the week before the bye, but it feels like if Bryce Young wants to get it going, he knows Tet's the guy to do that, because really everybody else is kind of rough here. And, Coker might slide in here a little bit too. He's coming off a good week. And it does feel like Bryce Young can only support one receiver per week kind of situation. And I think it goes back to being Tet this week. So,
yeah, I was going to say Coker's actually put back-to-back weeks together. And, as correct as you are, Young has not been a very stable quarterback for both of his wide receivers at the same time. Right. I will say Tampa is getting had at an all-time high this year, especially for Todd Bowles being a defensive coach. Would not be surprised if this turns into a shootout along the lines of what we saw with our Thursday night game. And I would not be surprised if you see a lot of points getting put up by the wide receivers in this one. Very exciting game. On the Tampa side, give me Mike Evans. This man's history against Carolina and eating their cookies is ridiculous. If you look at this man's history against Carolina, it's a Pro Bowl season. He's that damn good. He's got over 1,700 yards, over 16 touchdowns. God knows how many catches against this team. This dude, if he matched his Carolina Panthers season up against all of his other seasons, it'd be the best season he's ever had. So, that being said, you want him in your roster. I think this is a great game for Bucky Irving to get back on track. And then, if you're searching for Ibuka, Godwin, Otten, all these other guys, I don't know what to tell you. I probably would say maybe just get Chris Godwin, because it seems like Ibuka has just been inefficient for the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
He hasn't had it. He's getting the targets, but he just has not had he's just not bringing them in. He's had more drops and more misses than I ever thought he would when you saw him come into this game or coming into this year. So, stick it to the simple bread and butter. You get your Baker, you get your Bucky, you get your Evans, and if you really want a long shot, I think you get your Godwin in there and just roll with it, because this is going to be an exciting game.
My entire playoff lineup this week is long shots, because I also need Godwin. So
there you go. That's it. Hey, you're either gonna live and die by it, right? You're either gonna have a miserable.
It's gonna be brutal. I'm not. It's gonna be scary. Is what it's gonna be.
If fantasy isn't scary, then I don't know why we do it.
Right.
New York Jets, New Orleans Saints. LeDuc, you want to tell me about scary?
Mm-hmm.
Jets 24th against QBs. Saints 10th against QBs. Tell me how that's happening.
I know,
On
right?
the other side, running backs 30th for the Jets, 16th for the Saints, 12th for the Jets and wide receivers, 10th for the Saints, 13th against the tight end, and 10th for the Saints. So the Saints are 10-10-10 all around. They're a top 10 defense. So
Yeah, right. What's
going on here? Tell me about those Saints. Tell me who you're feeling okay with, if you're feeling okay with anything other than the defense.
You actually don't feel terrible about Chris Olave right now. He's kind of resurging with Tyler Shuck at the moment. Tyler Shuck's moving around good. He's mobile. He's rushing the ball. 3 straight weeks for him over 18 fantasy points. And that was against Miami on the road, Tampa on the road, and then
Carolina
at home against Carolina last week. So Carolina is not a bad defense this year. That's good. And then this is a good matchup as far as the Jets defense not being great. So kind of all right starting Tyler Shook if you really have to in a second QB super flex situation. 18, if he's going to be locked in for 16, 17, 18 points, I'm going to take that over a lot of other guys I'm taking a chance on to do that when it comes to a super flex situation. So I like Shook, I like Olave, and everybody else, no.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And DJ Master says, "My mama said, my mama said, my mama said, my mama said, who's always for the devil?" That's right,
yes.
son.
We do know that's from The Water Boy. We do that. We grown up with that movie. We know.
You Abdullah Oblongata. But on the Jets side, man, I can't trust any of it. I'm just going to move on.
Right.
I can't trust the goddamn thing with this thing. I unfortunately have the problem of I have to start Brady Cook in one league because I don't trust Geno Smith. That's a fucking crazy thing to say. Right. But I mean, I don't know who's worse, Geno or Brady. And I know who's facing the better defense, and that's Geno. That's for sure. So I am stuck with Brady Cook. And I'll tell you what, last week, that one touchdown, weirdly enough, it got me over on my matchup into the semifinals. So
okay.
What it is, my friend. But I'll tell you, I don't even trust the defense in this one. I can't.
Yeah.
Jets, just don't even worry about it. On to a better matchup, possibly, for some. Buffalo versus Cleveland. We got Buffalo is number 6 against quarterback. Cleveland number 4. 28th against the running back. Quinishon Junkins week incoming. 15th against the running back for Cleveland. 13th for Buffalo against wide receiver, 6th on the Cleveland side, and then number 1 overall against tight end. Buffalo is locking down the tight ends, and on the other side, it's 15th for Cleveland. Are you a Shador fan? Are you a Shador believer this week after his 3 interception week?
No, I'm not a Shador fan. I think he's shown the ability to get the ball to Fannin. That's great. But as you said, Buffalo locks down the tight ends. They are really athletic linebackers moving around there. So this Judkins is really the only guy I trust from the Browns this week. And I say that just because we've seen a decent amount of Judkins' success is either short goal line work or really big explosive, long plays. And that's 2 areas where we saw the Patriots be able to have success against the Bills this past week and a lot of other teams as well. So I think it's one of those weeks where Judkins could break one and he could run one in from the 1 or 2 or whatever. And I think he's going to have multiple touchdowns this week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Judkins is definitely the lock. On the Buffalo side, you want to get a little bit of everybody. I think this is going to be kind of like the warming up for playoffs for them. Would not be surprised if Josh Allen takes a couple in himself, if he gets James Cook heavily involved in this game. And then long shot wide receiver wise, would not be surprised if Khalil Shakir gets a touchdown in this game. and possibly if he's healthy, Dalton Kincaid. They need to get him going for the playoffs. But yeah, this seems like it should be an easy matchup for Buffalo. I do agree, though. I think Quinshon Judkins is due for a good game. He's kind of been in a slump. But yeah, I don't think this one is in doubt. I think Buffalo's going to stomp it. A game that just got a little bit more interesting, though, this past week. KC at Tennessee went from being no duh, it's going to be KC. And wait a minute, is Tennessee going to pull this out? KC is number 14 against the quarterback. Tennessee is number 26 against the running back. KC is number 5. Tennessee is number 19. Wide receiver number 14 for KC. And Tennessee is 28th. And then against tight ends, KC is number 5, while Tennessee is number 20. Who do you have on that Tennessee team that you think is worth starting against this Kansas City defense?
This game is impossible to predict this week. It just is. We have no clue how Kansas City is going to come out. We have no clue if they're going to give a shit, especially traveling to Tennessee. This is a game I'm staying away from wholeheartedly on all fronts. Betting, fantasy, nothing. I don't want to play like Pollard is the closest thing you have to being a flex guy in this game for Tennessee, and that's just because he's had 2 great weeks. And I'm gonna thinking of this game and rationale is that Kansas City is going to come out and not necessarily care. We already saw the way they kind of pouted after the game last week, where obviously losing Mahomes and losing the game is brutal. So I think Tennessee is going to be able to do some stuff against them, but this game is not a game I'm looking to get any money or winning or points or anything out of.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I look at this game as I'm not starting Gardner, but there are a couple Chiefs I'm okay with putting in there. I think low-key, I think Travis Kelce could have a good game if you have PPR-wise, just because I think he'll get peppered with targets. He's going to be out there. Another one long shot is going to be Worthy. I think Worthy could bust the play in this one. Tennessee's secondary is absolutely garbage. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, with Rice out, you'd think Marquise Hollywood Brown would be an option, but I really just don't want to bet on that, especially when it's playoff. So, I would just say if you have Worthy and you have Travis Kelce, maybe find a spot for him as a flex. But, if I were to put a bet on it, I'd say Kelsey's probably going to be the better option. But anyways, we need a better option for transition. No, we don't.
Yeah.
Because we got our own bodyguard who's watching from the UK. And let's step into the MEG zone.
Yeah! Yeah, baby, I'm in some MEG zone today.
Security.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the MEG Zone, my exclusive club where only the best fantasy football players make it to the door. Everyone else gets stopped before they even get in. This week on my list, at the very top of my list, players to avoid in daily fantasy, Travis Kelce,
Security.
Chiefs. Now, we saw Patty Mahomes getting taken out with that ACL and LCL injury last week. I don't have very much faith in Gardner Minshew. I also just feel like Travis Kelce has not been on top form of late. So I would be avoiding Travis Kelce. Sorry, bud, you're not coming into the MEG zone this week. Next up, we have got Dak Prescott.
Security.
They face a Chargers side that has been formidable this season. I would not be putting up Dak Prescott against the Chargers. It's not to say that I am saying that they're going to outright lose, but I just think the Chargers defense is going to make it very difficult for Dak Prescott to put points on the board. Finally, we have got Harold Fannin Jr.
Security.
tight end over at Cleveland. I worry about that side against the Bills. I think that he is going to really struggle. We're not going to see the best of Harold Fannin Jr. this week. And so Harold Fannin Jr., how many times can I say it? He's not getting into the MEG zone this week, unfortunately. For more hints, tips, tricks, and advice on fantasy football and all things NFL, head over to my social media where you can find me on all platforms at Ballers_Meg. And I will see you next week for the penultimate week of regular season.
Security.
Coming in with them big words, penultimate.
Yeah, I was gonna say. She shut down my Travis Kelce too.
She sure did. She also shut down my Dak Prescott. So she really shuts down a lot of our picks often.
Yeah, it's easy to say that we will not end up in the Meg Zone, and that Meg Zone's kind of where champions have been for DFS. So probably should take her advice over ours. But anyways, let's get back to the games. Let's get Jacksonville and Denver. This should be an entertaining one. Jacksonville's 20th against quarterbacks. Denver is number 7 against running backs. Jacksonville is 4th against running backs. Denver is number 1. Wow. That's an interesting matchup. ETN coming in probably the hottest running back going against that team. Wide receivers, 20th for the Jags, 9th for Denver. Patrick Surtain made a hell of a play last week. And then tight ends is kind of where the weak spot for both teams. 26th for the Jags. Denver is number 21 against tight ends. How are you feeling about Denver in this game?
Yeah, Denver, I think the matchup plays out well, especially at home, for just to really just play the guys that have been doing it for you. Bo Nix has been crazy lately. Cortland Sutton is back on track with him. If you're really desperate and need a flyer flex, Troy Franklin is that boom or bust guy that might be worth the shot, especially in this matchup. So he's kind of like like I said, your boom and bust flyer guy if you really need to slide someone in there. But RJ Harvey, I think, is probably right around he's probably just another flex guy this week. I kind of want to put him as a RB2, just because I think he's gonna be involved enough in some time killing and early on, but he's probably still just about a flex this week because Jacksonville's defense is really not terrible. But we'll see how they travel. But yeah, it's Bo Nix, it's RJ Harvey, it's Cortland Sutton, and if you want to fly with Troy Franklin, he could be worth it.
Very nice. And we got a question from K-Space91. You got a full PPR. You need a wide receiver and a flex. He's got Aaron Jones, Godwin, Dobbs, Reed, Boutte, and Shakir. Who you got?
I think I just go the first two there, Aaron Jones and Godwin for, Godwin receiver, Aaron Jones flex, just for their potential upside, because all these guys are basically low floor and you really need a boom ceiling. So if that's going to be the case for all of them, Godwin and Jones have the slightly better floor.
That is very true. The well-established vets as they are. And then DJ Master once again saying hi, my friend. Always a pleasure. Let's get it back to it. With our next game, it's Atlanta at Arizona. Atlanta is 18th against the quarterback. Arizona is 15th against the quarterback. 20th against the running back for Atlanta. Arizona 29th. Atlanta is 24th against wide receivers and Arizona 16th against wide receivers. Atlanta second against tight ends, locking down those tight ends, and Arizona's 25th. The Cardinals, buddy, tell me about the Cardinals.
Yeah, this game is a sneaky point bonanza here, where both defenses are really just horrendous, and both offenses have enough weapons that might pop off. So I know the one strong point of the Falcons defense is tight ends, but Trey McBride is matchup proof, so you got to start him. Michael Carter could be okay, but any Arizona Cardinal running back this year has just kind of been a disaster. So it's Brissett and Michael Wilson and Trey McBride. And Harrison, I think, is going to be good enough this week, honestly. I know he's been very spotty, but I think he's good enough coming off of the injury to where he's the flex guy. Michael Wilson is the wide receiver 2 in the scenario this week, because I just think Wilson's been too on fire, too hot, too much of a connection with Brissett to ignore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping so, because Brissett and Michael Wilson have just been absolutely making it look easy out there. On the Atlanta side, I got Bijan. Kirk Cousins could be sneaky in a super flex situation. And then the real pick here is Drake London coming back. He had a 4-game, injury stint. Hopefully it means he's fully healthy. Hopefully it means there will be no setbacks. And hopefully it means that he's going to go back to scoring you 15 to 18 points a game easily. So I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to leave Kyle Pitts off the list. I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to do much with Drake London back. This offense seems to always just feed one guy, and Kyle Pitts just had his name called last week. I don't think it's going to continue this week.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts needs Drake London to not be in the lineup to be good. We've now seen that way too many times.
Oh, look at this one. Wow. Big flex right here. Chase Brown or Travion Henderson for my RB2. Who you got, LeDuc?
Oh, geez. Hold on. What is... Oh, God. See, because what I'm worried about, like we said with Cincinnati, what I'm worried about is what do they have to play for? Miami also has nothing to play for, but they kind of have that spoiler gene in them, I'd say, more so than the Bengals do. So I think I'd play Henderson just because it's a slightly better matchup going against Baltimore in a game that the Patriots really want to win, and he still looks like the more explosive option there. So see, what sucks though is that Chase Brown gets the targets and Henderson doesn't. Like that's oh god, you know what? No, Chase Brown because of the targets. I'm changing my mind. Chase Brown. God, that's close. Can you play Henderson in the flex?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Bandit, who is your flex, and is he better than one of these guys? Because that's an option right there. Next up, we got Las Vegas and Houston. This seems like it should be a rapid kickoff at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, Houston right now, because it's so dominant. Against the quarterback, they're number 1. Against the running back, they're number 9. Wide receivers, number 3. And against the tight end, number 9. Vegas, against the quarterback, number 19. Running back, 25. Against wide receiver, 27. And tight end, number 4. It looks like it should be a pretty easy game to decipher. Tell me, who do you like on the Houston side? And I'll try and figure out who I like on the Raiders side.
Yeah, it's just start your stars. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, easy. Higgins and Kirk haven't really been consistent enough to say that you can be confident starting either as a flex. But Nico Collins should be able to be your wide receiver 1 this week. Stroud should definitely be a QB1. Like we mentioned in the injury segment, Marks and Chubb are both big question marks. Chubb looks like he's going to play. Marks is much more of a questionable situation. If Chubb is the only guy, I don't love that. Just because Chubb, I don't think has enough left, and this matchup is not great for Dalton Schultz. So to quickly jump to the question in the chat here, just since we're talking about him right now, Warren or Schultz. I don't love the matchup for Warren either, and especially with Phillip Rivers throwing him the ball. But between this Houston game probably being out of control early, if Schultz isn't one of those touchdowns, I don't think we're going to see the need to even throw the ball to Schultz. So for the sake of game script and involvement, Warren, I'm going to give the edge to over Schultz there.
I like it. I look at last week's shellacking from the Eagles and I go, can the Texans do more? Can they put up more points? Because sometimes you think these games are just going to be so out of control. And then sometimes you look at to where a point where they're going to stop. And then you look at the Jets-Jags last week, and Trevor Lawrence never took his foot off the gas pedal and just absolutely dominated that game. You kind of just hope that CJ Stroud has that in him too this week.
Well, they could be looking to prove something too. So maybe they don't stop. Maybe they do just try to pour it on if they can. Well, both Stroud individually and the team, I feel like they're looking to prove something offensively, because all the people talk about them as their defense right now, and they're going into the playoffs. They're a real kind of spoiler candidate here that can really cause some waves.
And to your point, if Nick Chubb goes instead of Woody Marks, it could be just them all freaking gas, no breaks with the passing game
Right.
all day long anyway. So, yeah, I mean, you gave me enough time to say this. Start Brock Bowers because Trey McBride had a good game against Texans. So maybe there's something there.
Maybe.
But I doubt it. All I'm going to say is somehow Geno is better than Kenny Pickett. So
yeah, right. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, and you got to wonder how bad Aiden O'Connell is to sit on the bench for that long.
Yeah, he's bad. Apparently.
We got another one from Caden. Purdy or Knicks? Who do you got in that one? Who do you got?
I mean, I think I'm still gonna say Knicks just because I think that's just too good of a layup for him at home there. But you're the Purdy expert. Do you have anything to say in favor of Purdy here?
I feel like the way the Colts defense is played, I feel like there's gonna be a lot more field goals than touchdowns being scored for 49ers. So I would go Knicks in this one. I think Knicks is gonna have to keep them going because I think it's probably gonna be almost like a shootout style with the Jaguars in this game.
Right. The Jaguars. Yeah, there you go.
Jaguars. Saints or Bills defense. This one is something that I'm fighting with too, right? I'm like thinking to myself, do I want to go get the Saints defense? But then the Saints defense isn't good for next week. Do I keep the Bills defense? Who am I going with here?
See, I would just keep the Bills. Yeah, I would just keep the Bills defense because like you said, you really got to hope and think for the week ahead. And I don't think the Saints defense is going to be good enough this week against the Jets to possibly drop someone that you might use next week or something. However you want to look at it, you're not going to use the Saints next week. So I'm not going to force them into my lineup this week when I think the Bills and Saints can easily score just as many points. I mean, Shedeur Sanders is going against the Bills. I mean, I know it's on the road, whatever, but it's Shedeur Sanders. He's going to turn the ball over probably at least twice.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Let's get back to the breakdown. It's Pittsburgh at Detroit. Pittsburgh this year has been 25th against the quarterback, 11th against the running back, 22nd against wide receivers, and 31st against tight ends. For Detroit, it is QBs. They are 27th, and then they are second against running backs, crazy enough, 31st against wide receivers, and then 17th against tight ends. Who do you have going for the Detroit Lions, and how easy is it for you to say Jahmyr Gibbs?
So it is easy to say Jahmyr Gibbs because he's just involved in every part of the offense. But I think it's also easy to say David Montgomery this week. I think they're both startable because I do think Montgomery gets in the end zone this week. I think Gibbs has been doing a lot, but they still show the desire that when they're down really close to the end zone, they give Montgomery chances. And in this matchup and the way Montgomery's been running, he still looks fine, honestly, to where I think he can still get in the end zone this week. So I like both the running backs, but really the biggest matchup advantage here is definitely Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown the last 2 weeks has just looked deadly. Just the ball going his way no matter what. He's catching everything. He's moving, great yak. That's going to be an absolute huge matchup, Goff and St. Brown. And even to some extent, Jameson Williams has the potential for a big play here, but with the amount of attention that St. Brown's been getting from Goff the last couple of weeks, Williams has definitely slid back a little bit and is a bit more touchdown dependent. We did see him. He had a big play last week. Last week they contributed to the 134 yards, and that touchdown definitely helped. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is still the guy that's going to get most of the offense. Williams needs the big play, I think.
Yeah, and I like that analysis of it. I think Amon-Ra is definitely your guy.
18 targets last week, Amon-Ra. 18.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is J-Mo still what he had. I think he yielded like 9 targets or something like that.
So, yeah, he still last week he still had 10 targets, caught 7 of them for 134 yards. Like, so that's the thing. Like, J-Mo still is also like they're just throwing the ball, and that's with you know that coincides with Gibbs having for him a down week. 13 carries, 38 yards. He still has 4 receptions on 7 targets, but Gibbs not finding the end zone last week definitely made it feel like it was a down week for him.
Well, ever since MCDC has gotten back control of his offense, Jameson Williams has looked like an absolute star. I think he's number 8, wide receiver 8 right now, which is crazy.
You could start them both in this matchup
40.
easy.
Yeah.
You can easily start them both.
Yeah. But anyways, on the Pittsburgh side, I think you start Aaron Rodgers if you need to. And then, I think DK Metcalf's not a bad option. He's starting to get on a heater, and Detroit's defense against wide receivers is next to last for a reason. They've been pitiful because they've been beaten up and bruised all season long. And I would imagine DK continues that this week. As far as anybody else, I don't know if I trust Warren because Gainwell is damn good. I think I would trust Gainwell at this point. I think
Gainwell's looking so good.
Has just been a monster. He's like having a slot receiver at the running back position. He's that damn good. So, I don't think I'm trusting Warren, but if you have Gainwell, throw him in there because he's just been too good to be true. Do you want the Patriots on this one, or do you want the Ravens?
I can take the Patriots. That works.
I'll give you the Patriots on this one. So, next one is New England at Baltimore. This one's going to be real exciting. Sunday night game. New England is 17th against quarterback, 6th against the running back, 15th against wide receiver, and 24th against tight end. Baltimore is 16th against the quarterback, 22nd against the running back, 21st against the wide receiver, and 6th against the tight end. Baltimore is in the pinch. They need to win this game to stay in contention for the North. New England needs to win this game to, I think, win the division. Right?
No, for a playoff berth now, because now they're only one game ahead of the Bills for the division. So the division is not. Last week would have, if they won last week against the Bills, that's why. If they would have won the division last week, because it was against the Bills. But they can still lock up a playoffs. They still, New England needs this win still.
So what you're saying is Drake May, Travion Henderson, and all these bad motherfuckers in New England still need to show up for this game. And that's why it's going to be so good, because you got Lamar Jackson, you got Drake May, and you got shitty defenses. No offense. I know Christian Gonzalez is really good, but
no, it's true. It's true though, and especially I know everyone sees that number 6 defense against running backs. That's not entirely accurate. That's coming off of pretty much being the number 2 defense against running backs the entire year, but they're like dead last in the last 3 or 4 weeks against running backs. And to add to, and that's mostly injury driven.
I was going to say, when did Milton go down?
Milton Williams been out for a couple weeks now, so he's hurt. I'm not sure. I don't think we've heard on his status yet for this week. But Robert Spillane is already ruled out for this week, and he's been our best run-stopping linebacker as well. So this matchup scares me for the Patriots because it feels a lot like last week's matchup against the Bills, where mobile quarterback, an offense that leans on the run game and doesn't really have receivers that are going to scare you. And when they do pass the ball, it's to one of 2 or 3 tight ends, which the Patriots suck against tight ends. So this has got a lot of the same feeling as last week. I do think the Patriots offense can have more success against this defense though. So with that said, you still got to start Drake May. Hunter Henry, I want to say you can start one of the tight ends, but not by one of the tight ends. It's really just Hunter Henry at this point. But Hunter Henry has just been he's been invisible the last couple weeks. It's really just been May, Henderson, and honestly Stevenson has looked good. I know he hasn't necessarily put up the fantasy points, so you're not really going to get that for fantasy purposes, but he could squeeze into the end zone if you're desperate because he has looked strong. I know we were talking in text between Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, and I threw Mac Hollins in there just because Mac Hollins is kind of a vibe guy, and he kind of carries the water for everybody when it comes to that. And Drake May sees that and seems to like to feed him. He had 8 targets last week. He only caught 4 of them, but he had 8 targets last week, and he could get involved. But if you need to start one of these wide receivers, Boutte's your best chance for a boom game. But his floors are low, unfortunately. So you feel much more confident with May and Henderson, and then really anybody outside of that it's a shot in the dark, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. It just feels like that offense is cooking at like a higher level, and it was really fun to watch last week.
The first half.
Yeah, I mean, even the second half when Henderson busted off that run, you kind of go, damn, like
that was all Henderson too. That was a complete broken play.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking, being somebody who owned Henderson or had managed Henderson all year long, I was thinking, why is Vrabel not using him? And now I'm like going like, maybe Vrabel was letting him cook and let him get better at practice, and now this is the finished product. And the finished product is he's just like absolutely busting it out and burning it.
Yep.
But you know, whatever it is, it's working, and keep doing it. Baltimore side, I like Lamar because, like you said, I think this could be a very much remnant of last week's game. Derrick Henry should continue to be Derrick Henry in this game. The tight ends, I don't know if I trust either one of them because I don't know which one to trust. Like 2 weeks ago, I would have said, or last week, I would have said Likely, and then Likely shit the bed. You know what I mean? Because it should have been a great game for him coming off of the first game against the Bengals. It wasn't an amazing game. Andrews has been iffy. Wide receivers, Zay Flowers. I think that Christian Gonzalez is going to lock Zay Flowers down. Zay Flowers doesn't have the talent to beat Christian Gonzalez.
Right. Exactly.
You know, best case scenario, I think you have a Lamar game where he goes to Rashad Bateman twice and you don't start Rashad Bateman. So
no one's probably starting Rashad Bateman this week. Who's still in it?
And if you do, send your picture or send your picture of your lineup in, and we'll give you the Big Balls Award.
There we go. Yeah, I like that.
But anyways, let's finish this bad boy up. San Francisco, Indianapolis. San Francisco's 22nd against quarterbacks, 18th against running backs, 19th against wide receivers, 22nd against tight ends. Indy against the quarterback, 13, running back, 10th, wide receiver, 30th, and tight end, 23rd. Give me who you like on the Colts.
Jonathan Taylor.
No Phillip Rivers?
No, the magic wore off on Phillip Rivers. I mean, let's be honest. No one has talked to him about how he felt 3 days after his first NFL game in 5 years. So I'm sorry, no. Phillip Rivers, it's Jonathan Taylor, and because I can't trust Phillip Rivers, I'm not going to trust the inconsistent Michael Pittman. I'm not going to trust the coming off injury Alec Pierce, and I'm certainly not going to trust Josh Downs, who also is Mr. Inconsistent, disappears every now and then. Your best chance is Tyler Warren because that's about who Rivers can probably get the ball to.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I wonder if his varsity quarterback gave him some shit for his arm.
Right.
Going, Coach, I think I can throw it further than you.
100%.
I think you could throw it further than him during his heyday too.
It's possible, yeah. He was never known for his arm.
Yeah. But for the 49ers side, I think you want to get Eddie Pinheiro in there. Dude, you know, I don't want to curse it or anything like that, but dude's been perfect this year. And then, you know, I knocked on some wood. Don't worry about it.
The announcers did that to the poor Rams kicker last night who came in, you know, halfway through the season, and they were like talking about how he's been so good, and then he goes and misses that field goal. So
is it still Cardi? Joshua Cardi?
No, it's that what's it, like Mikers or something like that, or whatever the hell his name. I forget his name.
Yeah, they had to have gotten rid of Cardi. Like that dude was fucking trash.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah, no, they should have won that. But special teams have been fucking them all year long. Yeah. But as far as anybody else goes, it's pretty simple. You know, put Christian McCaffrey in there. I would go Juwan Jennings this week. Ricky Pearsall is still questionable. I don't think he's going to play. He seemed to be really banged up last week. George Kittle should be easy for your PPR money. I don't think he'll get a touchdown this week, but he should be PPR money. And if you can, find somebody better than Brock Purdy out there, because I don't think he's going to deliver a QB1 week.
Like Bo Nix, Caden. Like Bo Nix.
Like Bo Nix. Well, as we usually do, it is time for us to put our pinkies out and get a little sophisticated for our sophisticated weeks for Mr. Sophistication. I'm losing it.
It's time to bring some sophistication to your fantasy lineups with Mr. Mallard.
Hello, welcome to Sophistication Station. I have one question for you this morning. It's classier than wearing a Snuggie and drinking a Budweiser at 9 o'clock in the morning on December 19th. The answer is nothing. Well, I really can't say nothing. I would say nothing, but Quinshon Judkins does play the Buffalo Bills this week, and we just saw Trevion Henderson break off 2 big runs against that defense. Now, they are a bend and then sometimes break defense when it comes to rushing, so I see Judkins being able to break off similar play at least once to that Henderson had. He's going to get in the end zone. He's going to have himself a good matchup against the Buffalo Bills, who's coming off what could be said their Super Bowl game, and maybe this game is a little bit of a trap game where the Browns are going to be able to keep it a little closer than people expected. It's hot in a Snuggie. Second, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He looks back to normal. He looks electric. He looks to be the main target for just about everything for Jared Goff, so I like Amon-Ra St. Brown to have a good game in what should be a high-scoring game, at least for the Lions side, against the Steelers. And then on the other side of the ball, because the Lions are going to put up points, the Steelers are going to have to try to keep up. DK Metcalf, here we go. He's going to continue to get a bunch of targets, hopefully a bunch of catches, should find the end zone. These guys should all be classy for you to help you get to that championship game, or, depending on your league settings, maybe we need the championship. So, that's Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's Quinshon Judkins, and that is DK Metcalf for your classy starts this week. I'm Angela Duke, host of the Divots and Pivots Show. Stay classy, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Now go win your fantasy matchup with class.
I didn't drink the full Budweiser at 9 a.m. this morning, by the way. I want to make that clear. I was working.
Is it cold enough? Is it cold enough to where you can put the Budweisers outside and then go out there and be like, just pop one open?
Well, it wasn't today because, like I said, today was actually quite warm. It was in the 50s here today, but it has been so far this December.
Very nice. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to throw an ice chest out there at some point and just try that out. When the snow, especially when the snow starts to come down, just throw a couple of those bad boys in there.
Beer slushies.
Oh yeah. But anyways, you know, from our Snuggie friend over here, Mr. LeDuc, you look like you were struggling over there for a second.
I know. I got hot in that Snuggie so fast, and I was losing my breath because of that. So I was just trying to get the words out.
But from our Snuggie enthusiast, Andrew LeDuc, I am your fantasy Jesus, and we are TSS Fantasy. And come join us on Sunday. Remember, hit that like button, the subscribe button, give us a comment, do it all, and bring your questions because we are here to answer them on Sunday. We're going to have the whole crew in. It's going to be a fun Sunday. We're going to get you pumped up for your semifinals matchups because you're going to the finals next week. That's right, and we're out. Yo!